thing. I absorbed that stuff. I'll be in there and I was like, all right, yeah, you got to talk about it because my dad wasn't having that shit. Yeah, I was doing that here, and in the summer I'll go train with Dad. So I was doing Vietnam and Jiu-Jitsu, which is another Black American martial art. So I'm over here dealing with a teacher that was fucking high as a kite, but he was awesome. Well, beat my ass because one day I guess being a kid, you just blunt, you say shit.
Yeah.
So he was like, yeah, with this magazine rolled up, I could take you out. So I was like, okay. He gave me a fake gun, a cap gun. I never forgot it. He gave me a cap gun. And he's like, all right, whenever you're ready, just pull the trigger. I said, pop! And he whipped my ass, man, because I was like, he wasn't ready, Sensei. He beat my ass, right? He had moved that paper so much, man. I was like, yo, I don't even want to read the paper after this, right? So
the 80s is a different time.
That was the real Cobra Kai.
Oh.
People don't understand, People see this Cobra Kai now. I'm like, yeah, it was like that. It was actually like that.
Yeah, they were definitely rougher back in the day.
Yeah. We don't look. I talked to my brother's school, and training people on the side was like, "You gonna use that?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" It's a shanai. And they're like, "You gonna hit me with that?" I'm like, "What do you need? What are you talking about?" So I had to do a research. I'm like, "Oh, foam stick."
You were hitting people with real sticks?
Yeah, shanai. Shanai is shredded bamboo, and they tie it together. It's like a sword.
Yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about.
Smack somebody.
That's
it. But
it's
they were like,
fucking torture.
You gonna use that? I'm like, well, if you're training for combat, what do you want me to use? I don't know. But you gonna hit me with that? And I'm like, all right, well, go fuck yourself. Here you go. There's a foam.
Yeah.
There's a foam bat where you get knocked the fuck out. Don't come back to me.
That's kind of rough.
Yeah, but
it's like, can you imagine that today? You're like, hey,
you can't.
You're gonna hit an 8-year-old with a shredded piece of bamboo.
Right. We used to use it for punishment like the extreme punishment. I can't deal with him. This kid, he's acting out. Blah, blah, blah. Can you hit him with this?
Well, that's 1980s for you right there.
Yeah, and I was like, I can't do
They had that in my Catholic school. They were talking about corporal punishment.
Remember, the principal used to come back and bend your finger back.
I never had that.
I had that done in PS 107. I want to say it louder. PS 107. Miss Harper, I love you. You were the fucking bomb. You set me straight. But I was acting up. I don't know what the hell happened. I was acting, just acting up, and she put me to her office, the principal, and took my finger, started bending this shit back. Man, I was like, I won't do it again, and I never did it again.
Wow.
Right? And that was in a Catholic school. That was a regular
public school. Well,
now you do that, and parents, I will kill you. Like, yo, no, let them be.
I'll never forget. I know from second grade. I'll tell you, second grade, and this teacher, she must have hated men. Like she was working on her men shit, and I never forget this woman because I liked her. I thought I had a crush on her, and I don't know how old are you in second grade? I don't even know. Anyway, so her name was Miss Mars. Yeah, 7 or 8 years old, Miss Mars. So I was like, kind of getting into that woman is beautiful. Like I think she's pretty, and
me too.
Like I like her. But I don't know what like men anyway. But it's just like, I like her. And Miss Mar, one day, one of the kids acted bad, and like in we had in New York we have like these old bomb shelters in the basements where they would have lunch.
Yeah.
And they have all these long tables, so the kids would get their lunch and they sit down and eat. And this kid acted up and jumped on the table and did some shit. And we were set up with, he was poor kid. He was like fucking like an ADD kid or whatever, right?
Okay.
So he's acting out and wilding, and everybody, the whole class is looking like, what the fuck? And so he got in trouble from the monitors. We went to Miss Mars. She came back after her lunch break, right? Because she had a lunch break to get away from our crazy asses. And she came back, and they were like, lunch break and smoke break. Let's get this kid. His name was Wendell. Wendell was acting bad, and he was doing this. He was throwing food, and she was like, Wendell, you did that stuff? And she yelled at him. She's like, well, because of that, all the boys are getting punished. And she punished every male in the class. Because he was a male, she punished every male and made us all pull out our hands and whack it with a ruler.
Wait.
Right, all of us.
All
Because we didn't stop Wendell's crazy ass. So, and then when she did the Wendell, fucking blew my fucking 8-year-old mind. Because she pulled his pants down and hit him. This is public school. This is 1980, whatever the fuck. And she hit Wendell with a fucking ruler, like, let's go 5-6 times. And then look at, he was screaming for his dear life. And I'm sitting there, and she beat all
Was it metal or wood?
No, it was wood. But she beat all the boys first. So she hit them all in their hand. I'll never forget. She hit him in my right hand. And I held my hand in like this, like, and I was like, I hate this bitch. I was like, oh.
You're the greatest teacher, but I hate you.
You were beautiful, and now I fucking hate you. And I sat in that chair, and I'm like, and I remember, I'll never forget, there was this light-skinned Puerto Rican girl that sat next to me, and I thought she was so cute. And I was like, oh, I want her to like me. I want her to think that I'm nice. And I was like, but I can't cry in front of her. And I'm just sitting there that's the first time I ever learned how to repress a serious cry. It's just like in public. So anyway, onto my story. I'm going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Oh, this cloud make us act up. Money is all that matters. If you're a rapper or a trapper, selling souls in the answer. Oh, but dreams don't shatter.
All right, and we are back. Of course, when you do a podcast about beer, Mother Nature and gravity take over after sitting down for a little while, and you got to go tinkle. So
right.
We still have a bit of our, 21st Amendment Brewery. Actually, what's the name of this beer? It's Blood Orange IPA. We got a little bit left over. It is a 7% ABV beer. So I'm going to crush the rest of this. I don't know if you can or you need to, or you good?
I'm good.
You can babysit it?
I'm almost done.
Okay, well, we'll keep going. Well, I'll sip. Yeah. I won't crush it. Because you brought some other stuff out the freezer, the fridge. Another 21st Amendment beer, but we'll get into that in a minute.
Okay.
In a minute. Baby steps. So yeah, Miss Mars whacked me in my hand, and this is the whole point about the 80s, right? Okay. So she whacked me in my hand, beat all the boys in the class, and we were all like, what the hell? We didn't do anything. We thought, man, this is so unfair.
Did she beat your hand or ass?
Hand. Only Wendell did she whoop his ass. Actually whooped him with a ruler. Whap, whap, whap.
Was she related to him?
I have no clue. I don't think so. Anyway, so
she beat him in the ass.
I think this happened 2 separate times. It's hard to remember at that age. Yeah. But I do remember finally telling my mom and dad. And my dad, the pacifist, was like, oh, well, we'll see what's up. We'll talk to them, And my mom was like, oh, fuck that shit. We're going to talk. And I'm doing the finger point. She said, we're going to talk to her. We're going to talk to that teacher. And we went to that school, and I'll never forget, they made me sit down while they're talking to her. And I was terrified. I was like, this is conflict. I'm not comfortable with conflict. And they made me sit there, and they talked to her, and then they told me, okay, go stand outside the room. And apparently, my mom's advice for Miss Mars was, if you ever put your hands on my son, I will come back to this school and I will beat the shit out of you. And that was she was like, I will. And we lived in a place called Brownsville, Brooklyn at the time. So if somebody says, I'm gonna come back and come get you, they pretty much mean it.
Yeah, Titi meant it. She meant it, man. She was like uncle. But it's like the time I was graduating from junior high school, right? So I had an art teacher. She was amazing. I didn't follow that route at that time, and even though everybody told me I should have followed the route, which was to go to art
and design
high school.
Yeah, it was art and design high school.
Right. So I didn't follow that route. No, let me rephrase that. I had to get a portfolio done to go there.
Let me give a quick background real fast to some of the people that don't know. In New York City,
it's awesome.
Yeah, New York City schools are like some pretty amazing schools. I have to admit that. So like to go to high school in New York, in junior high school, or what's the other way they call it, middle school.
Right.
In middle school, they will prep kids at the younger grades before you have to go to the 9th grade. So at 7th grade, 8th grade, you're already thinking about high schools in New York City like colleges.
Right. Like you have John Jay College was
Right.
law.
Right, but it was John Jay High School.
Right,
right. And they were horrible.
Yeah,
They ignored the law. That was those motherfuckers. I want to go to that.
Just jaywalk your first day here. And,
Yeah, there was Cardinal Hayes in the Bronx.
But you had Mary Bertram in Manhattan.
Right.
That was a nursing high school.
Right. That's right. High schools. There was high school aviation in the Queens.
Yeah.
Bronx Science.
And New York. Brooklyn
Neil
had
deGrasse.
one
I think Neil deGrasse Tyson went to Brooklyn Tech.
Yeah, Brooklyn Tech. He had Bronx School of Science.
And Bronx Science. I think Neil deGrasse Tyson may have went to that one, but I'm not 100% sure.
John Dewey prepared you for liberal arts and things like that. You know, but
and Isidore Murrow, there were a lot of actors. Or
John
Murrow
was basically a school for fucking secretaries, man. Secretaries and accountants was that school. I remember that because Sally used to go there.
Oh wow!
And she used to get mad because I used to try hitting on all her friends, right? But it was in the middle there, and then you have my high school, which was Chelsea Vocational High School, which did carpentry, electrical, electronics, and
so to back you up, sorry, you were talking about your portfolio.
My portfolio.
So you say to get into school in high school.
Everybody was like, yo, Stern and everybody else, yo, man, you gotta, just draw like 10 pictures, man. I was like, all right, bet. I got it, man. Yeah, just color them too. I was like, all right, well, I'm a poor kid. I can't afford design markers. Design markers were $5 a marker.
Wow.
Right?
Even back then, huh?
Yeah, even back then. So I was like, all right, well, I got a job. I gotta impress these hot chicks.
Oh, so you didn't do it for the art. You did it for the girls, huh?
No, I didn't even think about the art part. You're right. Because he was trying to hook me up. So I went and got these design markers, right? At my own leisure, whatever money I was making, drawing on clothes and shit like that. And
that was big in the 90s.
Yeah, it was big. I was making money off Looney Tunes. Babs the Bunny and all this other crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I was making a lot of money off of that. But here I go, because I got my acrylic paints for that stuff. So I go, and I'm doing all these clothes, right? Yo, bro, you ready? I was like, ready for what? Ready to go to high school for art and design? I was like, what are you talking about? Yo, I told you to make a portfolio, man. I got your hookup. I was like, yeah, I got a portfolio. I wasn't thinking about shit. I didn't give a shit. I was designing shit and, hanging out. So that day came. Mr. Felix, Mr. Ali, do you have a portfolio? I was like, what the hell is that? I didn't draw not one picture. And I had to take the next step, which is I was going to go to John Jay High School or go to a vocational high school. So I took the vocational high school. In the vocational high school, I made a killing with my art, which is kind of crazy.
Really?
It was an art school there. It was all electronics, electrical, plumbing, and things like that.
That's
in the middle.
Do those schools like that now?
They have that here in Jersey.
But are they still like that? Are they very technical now, or is it all?
Yes, here in Jersey they are.
No, I mean in New York. Do you know? I don't know.
I don't know if Chelsea's still open, but it was probably one of the best high schools I went to. And on top of that, for lunch you can stay or go. So in other words, you can go out for lunch or buy your own stuff or stay there. And it was a nice introduction to Soho.
Oh, the school's in Soho?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I was like, if I ever become a millionaire, I would like to fund this school. But
now billion.
yeah. I'm just saying, they need that. They need more of that.
Gotcha.
And here in Jersey, there's 2 schools like that right here in the area. So, and they offer more than what we offer. So you have art, culinary arts, auto school, which is awesome, right? So you have art, culinary school, auto, carpentry, Masonry. I was like, what the hell?
Wow.
Right? They didn't offer that in New York. They offer certain